Hello, and welcome to Japan Lyric Room.
Thank you so much for having me.
In this show, we take our time to deeply appreciate the lyrics of Japanese songs, delivering the meanings hidden within their phrases and their unique Japanese cultural backgrounds in a way that's, easy to understand.
Right. It's about really soaking in the words.
Exactly. And before we get into today's song, I want you to just imagine for a moment that you are sitting in a completely silent gymnasium.
Oh, wow. Just picturing that makes me a bit tense.
Right. The air is just incredibly heavy. Your pen is like hovering over a totally blank sheet of paper. But this time, there is no teacher standing at the front of the room holding an answer key. There's no textbook you could have studied.
Nothing to memorize.
Exactly. Because the grading criteria for this exam, well, it is the rest of your life.
That is just such a profound, heavy scenario.
It really is. And it perfectly captures the emotional weight of the song we are exploring today. Today's lyric analysis focuses on a song called Seikai,
Which translates to correct answer.
Yes, by the band RADWIMPS. And for anyone who might be unfamiliar with it, this song captures that incredibly agonizing but also profoundly beautiful transition from youth into adulthood.
It really hits right at the core of that transition.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to explore what it actually means to leave behind a school system that is built entirely on, questions with definitive correct answers.
Right. Where everything is black and white.
Exactly. And what happens when you step out onto the completely blank page of real life. Like, we'll be looking at that deep craving we all have for the kind of wisdom that simply isn't printed in any textbook.
Like how to make up with a friend after a fight.
Yes. Or just how to heal a heart that is bleeding with frustration.
It's so deeply human. And, to truly grasp why this song resonates so deeply, you really have to understand the specific environment it was born into.
Right. The origin story is amazing.
It really is. So Seikai was written back in 2018 for a very special NHK television project. It was called RADWIMPS 18 Fez. And the lead singer and songwriter, Yojiro Noda, he wrote this specifically for a live audience of exactly 1,000 18-year-olds.
Wow. 1,000 teenagers all in one place.
Exactly. And he didn't just write a song for them. He spent time listening to them, facing their hopes, their fears, and their internal conflicts head on.
It is such a fragile age.
It is, especially Japan. The age of 18 is just an incredibly high-pressure time. It is the culmination of years of intense studying for university entrance exams.
Right, the exam hell, as they call it.
Yes. Your entire worth can feel reduced to a standardized test score. And recently, following a 2024 studio release, this song grew far beyond its original broadcast.
It really exploded, didn't it?
It did. It has become a new, modern standard for graduation ceremonies across the entire country.
Because it provides such a cathartic release from all that pressure. I mean, it just lets them breathe.
Absolutely.
So today, we are going to take our time and gently walk through the 7 core phrases of Seikai that chart this emotional journey.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too. Let's start with the opening scene. Notice sets this really nostalgic picture of what adults often dismiss as wasted time.
Right, the inefficient moments.
Exactly.
If we translate that literally into English, it means even though we will see each other tomorrow, for some reason we rub our sleepy eyes and talk nonsense all night. The next day, naturally, we fall asleep side by side at our desks. And even though we are getting scolded, we start laughing.
It's such a clear image.
Yeah.
And to truly capture what he's conveying here, the exact cultural nuance reads, even though we'll see each other again tomorrow, for some reason we talk all night long. The next day, as expected, we nap side by side at our desks and get scolded, but we can't help but laugh.
This phrase is just so incredibly evocative. It immediately grounds the listener in the shared physical exhaustion of Japanese school life.
Because they're just always so tired.
Exactly. Between regular classes, after-school clubs, and evening cram schools, the Juku students are chronically exhausted.
Right.
So, staying up all night talking nonsense isn't just a lack of discipline. It's actually a tiny, vital rebellion.
Oh, I love that. A tiny rebellion.
Yeah. And what's beautiful here is the realization that these moments, which society or teachers might view as highly inefficient or a waste of time, are actually the most brilliant, irreplaceable parts of student life.
That is so true. I mean, when we look back on our own lives, the things that cement our deepest friendships are rarely our moments of perfect achievement.
Right. It's never the time you got an A on a math test.
Never. It's always the shared vulnerability of an everyday failure, like getting scolded by a strict teacher because you physically couldn't keep your eyes open.
And you share that sideways glance.
Yes. You look at each other and you both just start trying to hide your laughter. That shared trouble is what builds the strongest bonds. Like, think about adulthood, right? If you go on a road trip, the memories you actually cherish aren't the ones where you drove perfectly from point A to point B without any traffic.
Oh, definitely not.
The story you tell for the rest of your life is the one where you got completely lost.
Right.
The car broke down, and you were just sitting in the middle of nowhere eating stale snacks and laughing together in the dark.
Exactly. It's the shared journey in the dark that bonds you. But, you know, those late night talks eventually force us to look inward.
Which brings us to the internal transformation.
Yes. From the shared joy of the group, we move to the internal individual transformation that true friendship brings.
Right. And that takes us to our second phrase, which is really about the power of being found.
In English, that literally translates to, you who are different from any friend I have met until now, found me. I was able to like myself for the first time.
Yeah. And the specific cultural nuance here is, because you, unlike any friend I had ever met before, found me. Because of that, I was able to like myself for the first time.
The Japanese word used here is mitsukuru, which simply means finding.
Right.
But we really need to look at the psychology of an 18-year-old to understand its weight. At that age, you are often consumed by the anxiety of figuring out your identity.
Who am I? Am I normal?
Exactly. You feel invisible, or worse, you feel like an imposter. So mitsukuru, in this context, means far more than just noticing someone in a crowded hallway.
It's not just, oh, I see you standing there.
Right. It represents a deep existential validation. This lyric expresses that true self-acceptance often cannot be reached alone.
Wow.
It requires someone else to look at you, to see all your awkwardness and flaws, and affirm that you are perfectly fine just the way you are.
I have to pause and ask you about that, though, because it feels like it contradicts almost everything we are taught today.
Oh, how so?
Well, in our modern culture, especially with the rise of wellness and social media, we are constantly told that self-esteem must come from within. The mantra is always, you have to love yourself first where anyone else can love you.
Right. You hear that everywhere.
But Noda is saying the exact opposite here. He's saying we actually need an external anchor first. Is it really possible that for a fragile teenage heart, we need someone else to validate us before we can find ourselves?
I think it is. And I think that's the deeply empathetic truth this song reveals.
Yeah.
While self-love is obviously the ultimate goal, expecting a fragile teenage heart to spontaneously generate it in isolation is incredibly difficult.
It's almost asking too much of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That external light, the gaze of a friend who truly sees and accepts you, is often the necessary catalyst. We learn that we are worthy of love through the actual experience of being safely loved by another person. That external validation is what makes internal acceptance possible.
That makes perfect sense. It's like needing someone to hold the mirror up so you can finally see your own reflection clearly.
That's a great way to put it.
But let's be honest about human nature. Even when someone finds you and you build that incredibly close bond, it's rarely a perfectly balanced equation.
That is unfortunately very true. And it is a dynamic that the songwriter does not shy away from at all.
So let's look at the third phrase, which explores the hidden loneliness in friendship.
Right. The literal translation is, there is no way you would know, you couldn't possibly understand. Even though we walked side by side, somewhere I was always chasing your back.
And to fully grasp the emotion here, the exact cultural nuance reads, there's no way you'd know, you couldn't possibly understand. Even though we walked side by side, in truth, I was always chasing after your back.
This is where Noda's genius as a lyricist really shines.
It's so poetic.
It is. He focuses on the phrase kimi no sanaka, which means your back. He is acknowledging a painful reality here, which is that friendship isn't always perfectly equal.
No, it rarely is.
You could be best friends, walking side by side to school every single day, but inside, there's a hidden, unshared loneliness.
Like a secret you're keeping from them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a complicated, quiet resentment mixed with deep admiration. It's the feeling that no matter how close you are, you're always just one step behind this person.
Wow.
You're looking at their back. And because you love them, you can't confess this jealousy to them.
You just swallow it.
Yes. And as graduation nears, and you realize you will soon be separated, this silent dynamic becomes painfully real.
It is such a heavy, relatable feeling. I mean, it really reminds me of running a marathon side by side with someone.
Oh, that's a perfect analogy.
Like, to the outside world, you're perfectly tied. You look like a single unit moving at the exact same pace.
Right, everyone thinks you're equals.
But internally, You feel like you are sprinting until your lungs burn just to keep up. And you glance over, and your friend isn't even breaking a sweat. It is a very specific, isolating type of loneliness.
Precisely. And in a culture like Japan's, which places such a high value on reading the room and maintaining harmony, that kind of complex emotion gets buried very deeply.
So what happens when that silent resentment builds up? I mean, you can't just fix that with a polite smile.
No, you really can't.
Sometimes the pressure gets too high. And that brings us to our fourth phrase, which deals with the brutal honesty of true connection.
This is a powerful shift in the song.
Yeah.
Literally, this translates to, my heart, which did not know how to convey his feelings, you forcefully pried open.
And the cultural nuance is exactly this. My heart, which didn't know how to convey its feelings, you pried it open by force, but with total honesty.
The key word here is kojiakaru, which literally means prying open by force.
That's a really intense word.
It is. It is a violent, raw, almost mechanical word. You use it when a door is rusted shut, and you have to use a crowbar to force it open.
Oh, wow. A crowbar?
Yeah. It perfectly captures the friction of human relationships. The narrator of the song had closed their heart, probably out of that very fear of inadequacy we just discussed.
Right, the chasing your back feeling.
Exactly. And what did the friend do? They didn't stand outside and knock politely. They forced the door open through messy, muddy clashes.
Which is hard to do.
It is. Maybe there was shouting, maybe there were tears. But they refused to let the narrator hide in their safe little shell.
You know, I have to play devil's advocate here, though.
Sure.
Because prying open by force in today's landscape, that language almost sounds toxic.
I can see how it sounds that way.
Right, like we are constantly taught about the importance of establishing boundaries and respecting people's personal space.
Yes, boundaries are a huge topic now.
So if someone's heart is closed, isn't it intrusive to pry it open? Why is Noda framing this violation of boundaries as a profound act of love?
That is a fantastic question. And I think the key is understanding the context of extreme politeness in Japan.
Okay, tell me more about that.
In Japanese culture, avoiding conflict and maintaining a pleasant surface, which is known as tateme, is often prioritized above all else.
Right, keeping the peace.
Exactly. So it is very easy to use boundaries as an excuse to simply not engage with someone's pain.
Oh, wow.
What Noda is suggesting is that sometimes leaving someone alone behind their walls isn't respect. It's abandonment.
That is heavy.
True understanding sometimes requires the pain and friction of absolute honesty. You cannot always reach the depths of someone's soul by politely asking for permission.
Right.
When someone is drowning in their own insecurities, love looks like breaking the door down to pull them out.
That is incredibly powerful. And, you know, it's exactly that messy, unscripted friction that prepares these students for what happens next.
Yes.
Because real life doesn't follow a polite, predetermined formula.
It really doesn't.
The day they actually have to leave that school building, the rules completely change. And that is the theme of the fifth phrase.
This is where everything turns.
Yeah.
The literal English translation is, I have been taught nothing but questions that have answers. But from tomorrow, I am going to search for my own correct answer.
And the cultural nuance reads, I've been taught nothing but questions that have predetermined answers. But from tomorrow, I will go forth to find my own correct answer.
This is the massive turning point of the entire song. This is where the title, Seikai, which means correct answer, completely flips in its meaning.
The whole concept changes.
Yes. Up until this exact moment, school was essentially a game of guessing the teacher's predetermined answers.
You just figure out what they want you to say.
Right. You memorize the textbook, you fill in the correct bubble on the exam, you get the grade. It is a binary world of right and wrong. But life is a spectrum. And I really want to highlight the word Isa used here.
Isa.
Yes. It is a brave, almost warrior-like exclamation in Japanese. It's a declaration of independence.
Like a battle cry.
Exactly like a battle cry. It means stepping onto the battlefield to carve out one's own values, accepting that there is no answer key in the back of the book anymore.
That must be an incredibly dizzying realization for an 18-year-old. I mean, you spend your whole life training to take tests, and suddenly the format changes.
I'm totally, completely upended.
So if the old test is over, how do you take the new one? Where is the rubric? Who is even grading you?
That is the terrifying question. And it leads us directly to phrase 6, which is the ultimate exam of life and mortality.
Okay, let's look at it.
Literally translated, that is, the time limit is your life from now on. The answer sheet is your life from now on. At the time of grading, I will no longer be here.
And the exact cultural nuance is both the time limit and the answer sheet are your life itself. And at the moment you finally grade your life, I will no longer be in this world.
The structure of this lyric is just masterful.
It sounds so formal.
It does, because it adopts the exact sterile phrasing of a classic Japanese test prompt. The kind of prompt that instructs students to fill in the blank with the correct time limit and answer sheet.
Ah, so it mimics the exams they are so used to taking.
Exactly. It mimics the literal sheets of paper they've spent years staring at. But the twist the songwriter introduces is staggering.
Yeah.
The grading time for this new test isn't at the end of the semester. It is at the end of your life. It is death.
Oh, wow.
Your teachers, your guides, even your friends, they won't be there to grade you. You will only know if the way you lived was the correct answer at the very moment your life ends.
I mean, we can all relate to the mundane, stomach-dropping dread of sitting in a silent room waiting to take a final exam.
We all know that feeling.
But taking that universal feeling and applying it to your own mortality, that is so heavy and solemn. Think about an 18-year-old hearing this in a gymnasium.
It's intense.
It instantly shifts the stakes of graduation. It moves the anxiety away from, what university will I get into? Or what corporate job will I secure?
Right.
To the ultimate philosophical question, how will I judge my own existence on my deathbed? It asks you to view your entire life as a single, beautifully blank canvas.
Facing that kind of ultimate accountability, a lifelong exam with no teacher to tell you if you're doing it right could completely paralyze you. It is terrifying.
Totally paralyzing.
But this is where the songwriter does something truly magnificent. In the final phrase, he takes this heavy terror and transforms it into a powerful blessing.
Okay, let's listen to that final seventh phrase. The starting pistol of life.
The translation is therefore the grading criteria is your life from now on. Ready? Start.
And the cultural nuance reads exactly like this. Therefore, the criteria for what makes a correct answer is also determined by your life. Now, let the exam of your life begin.
The phrase yoi, hajime, which means ready, start, is deeply ingrained in the Japanese psyche.
How so?
Well, it is the strict, traditional, non-negotiable command used by Japanese teachers to begin an exam.
I see.
In that silent gymnasium you pictured earlier, students are holding their breath, their pencils are hovering, but they absolutely cannot touch the paper until the teacher echoes this exact command.
The tension must be unbearable.
It is a massive source of stress. And Yojiro Noda takes this strict educational command, strips it of its anxiety, and completely repurposes it.
Oh, he reclaims it.
Yes. He turns it into a magnificent blessing for the start of their unscripted lives. You are your own grading criteria now.
You can just visualize the emotional scene unfolding as the song ends. Like, you can see these students wiping away their graduation tears.
Yeah.
They are physically picking up their pens, taking a deep breath, and bravely facing the completely blank answer sheet of life.
It gives me goosebumps.
Me too. They aren't writing for a teacher anymore, or a university, or even their parents. They are finally writing for themselves.
As we conclude our lyric analysis of this beautiful song, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder as you go about your week.
Please do.
When you hear that command, yoi, hajime, at the very end of the song, remember that the voice speaking is no longer a teacher standing at the front of a classroom. That voice is the song itself. And as you step further into adulthood, that voice gradually becomes your own inner voice.
That's beautiful.
It is the gentle push on your back, encouraging you to pick up the pen and start fresh every single morning of your life, long after graduation day has passed.
What a beautiful way to deeply appreciate the lyrics of this masterpiece.
It's been wonderful discussing it with you.
Thank you so much for joining us and listening to our audio today. We pick up various Japanese songs and update detailed lyric explanations on our blog, so if you want to deeply appreciate the lyrics further, please check the website via the link in the description.
It's definitely worth exploring more.
Absolutely. And if you like this show, please subscribe and follow the channel. We'd also love it if you could leave a comment with your thoughts or, any requests for songs you want covered next. Until next time, this was Japan Lyric Room.